Hi, this is Cindy with Quantum Kaleidoscope. Thank you so much for tuning in. So I'm going to do a quick little, well, I mean, it's probably not going to end up being that quick, but I'm going to try to do a bit of reading for every sign. Um, so I've intended to do this so many times. Let's see if I actually get through everything. But I'm going to start with Virgo since we are still in Virgo season, even though we are wrapping it up. This reading is going to be a little bit about Jupiter. And so if you don't want to hear anything about the astrology of Jupiter, I'm just going to probably spend like, I don't know. I don't even know how much I know about it really, but feel free to go directly to your signs. I do encourage you that if you know your Jupiter sign, go to that one as well, since this will be kind of like a Jupiter reading, as well as don't forget your sun sign, your rising sign, your Venus, like pretty much if you know your chart, like go to whatever signs those are going to resonate, because I can guarantee you more than one sign will be your situation. Okay. At the end of the video, I'll also have a little bit of a pick a card, if you so choose for additional guidance. Okay, so Jupiter just went direct. Okay, it has been retrograde for the last 4 months. And what retrograde means is that, like, so from our perspective from Earth, it looks like the planet is going backwards. Okay, from like it normally goes this way, it looks like it's going backwards. But it's just our perspective. But energetically, it is known to kind of weaken the power of the planet and how it kind of affects us. And any kind of retrograde is all about review, revision. Okay, Jupiter itself is a planet of, it's about luck. It's about expansion. Okay, it's kind of like that magnifying glass too, that will kind of like magnify anything that you're kind of experiencing. If you're experiencing a lot of joy, it could magnify that, and it is the planet known for blessings. It can also magnify kind of pain and depending. And so for the since December roughly of 2019, it has been in Capricorn. And Capricorn is all about restriction, structure, you know, dotting your I's, crossing your T's and stuff like that. But Jupiter is about exploration, expansion, kind of thing, luck, going with the flow. And so it hasn't really been very comfortable in this energy. Okay, so in the last 4 months, okay, it's really been a time of review, reflection. But now that it's gone direct, okay, until it changes signs, okay, at the end of the year, and then like if you've done the hard work, if you've kind of listened to and adjust what you need, is like there can be some really great gifts that you're probably already seeing signs of. Okay, so what I'm going to do is kind of go through each zodiac basically and kind of see like what has this Jupiter retrograde been doing? Like, have you started some new projects? Have you, like done more, like for me, more with YouTube, for example, which, so like, what have you done? Okay. And so I have a deck, a new deck. It's the Robin Wood Tarot. It just happens to be the deck that's nearby. I've never used it. I'm also going to use a spread that it came with the deck, with I've adjusted a little bit. Never used it either. So it should be okay. Seven of Cups came out. We'll see if I can get. I was testing before, and I knew there's a spot where you can kind of see it without it being too washed out, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, Seven of Cups is all about options, daydreaming, Anyways. I just dropped all the cards. So to continue a little bit on with Jupiter, and it's not only that too, it's like what we have is also Saturn's been in retrograde as well, like in a couple of days, couple of weeks, or less than a week or something like that. It'll be going direct, okay, with the new moon, I believe, on the 17th. Okay, and so that's all about setting your intentions about like what do you want like the next 6 months going, okay? But this is also about, it will be a significant portal, okay? Given everything that's been going on, like what have you learned? You know, what has changed this year? Things have changed so much for everybody. Like, what did you start? Like, what passions were you able to explore that, say if COVID never happened or the slowdown never happened that you were never able to do before, you know? Like, what have you been resisting? Hi, this is going to be a quick pick a card using the Sacred Earth Oracle. This is just to, correspond with the tarot readings for when it comes to Jupiter. Okay, so Jupiter just went direct. And so I'm going to do a quick pick a card in terms of, now that it's gone direct, like what is your guidance? Like what is the big message that you can, that'll help move you forward? Okay, so I'm going to just quickly get 3 cards here and see. Okay, so it's going to be the top 3. Okay, so I'm going to actually try not to look at it. Okay, I can't see. Okay, so this is the first one. This is the second one. And this is the third one. Okay, so feel free to pause the video, see if there's anything that's like guiding you to pick one or whatever the case is. Maybe, whatever. Like I can see. Yeah. Anyways, so there's going to be timestamps below, so you can just go to ABC or 1, 2, 3, whatever I ended up putting down. Okay? Okay, so first one, third one. Okay, so the first one. If you picked number 1, your message is repetition. Okay, so feel free to take a look at this. Okay, but ultimately it's about, okay. So it may feel like history is repeating itself, in a lot of ways. Because okay, ultimately, if there's anything that's going, okay, a retrograde planet is like, from our perspective, it is going backwards, but it not actually is. But like, in terms of degrees, like, when it goes direct again, it like repeats degrees. So it can like, when you're in that process of the retrograde and like reviewing, and it's like, okay, maybe things that you might have started in December, moving forward, and then, come May, there might have been some kind of like stoppage, and we had to like kind of revision and like, redo and whatever work for you kind of thing, right? And then like, but then like now that is going direct, for the next 4 months, it's like, okay, what did you learn? What wisdom can you take from everything? Like, okay, the trial and error, and the thing is that like, okay, we're always in a process of like that, that like, birth and growth and death and, that like rebirth cycle. And it's always, things are always, coming and going, and so that new things can come. So there's always that like, repetitiveness or that constant within life, And so it's like, what can you do differently this time? Like, what can you, like, based on the wisdom, based on the like, the edits, based on, whatever insights you have taken in throughout this, again, COVID's changed everything for everybody, right? It's forced us to slow down, forced us to reflect, And so it's like, what, you may have a second chance for something to make things right, Anyway, hopefully that, resonates. Feel free to, pick another card if you'd like, because more than one could resonate for sure, or there's could be some takeaways for anything. But if there is something that is repeating, it's like sometimes it is because, we didn't learn the lesson the first time, and, and it's like we keep, the universe keeps bringing to us like, the same challenges sometimes, so that we can, be like, okay, now I know how to handle it this time, as long as I've like did the reflection and did the hard work, then, I can do it differently this time. I'm the power, and Jupiter is going to be great for you. Awesome. Congrats. Hopefully have a great rest of the year. And I'm going into the second one. Okay, so if you picked the second card, okay, this is your reading. Okay, this is your card. Time. Okay, like I know for me, like time has been a huge factor for me within like what would have to time out. Huh. You should have to time out with Jupiter if I really think about it in the sense of like, my whole concept of time has changed. Time does and does not exist, And so it's like, but within that like forced slowdown, within the like, you know, changes from that. Okay? Like we are given the time to heal. We are given the time to, reflect. Sometimes like if, COVID didn't happen, or if like, the job changes didn't happen, or whatever didn't happen, it's like sometimes we just continue to go through the motions without, being mindful about, what we're doing. It's just kind of like being on autopilot, but when we have that time to reflect, and the time to really kind of like internalize, the lessons that, we are given the opportunity to learn if we wanted to, it's like we have the abundance of time. Like, I mean, maybe time has been a thing, like maybe like I don't have enough time, but we have time for what we want to in a lot of ways. Sometimes it's just about sometimes it's just about adjusting it. But I do think that like this has been the gift of time it's been really beneficial for you. And I think that without whatever changes are happening moving forward, I think you are going to have more time. It can be about like what you invest. It can just be what you invest in, like not like, I mean, there could have been something that like really highlighted to you during, like the retrograde about this. Like not everybody's worth your effort. Like you may want to save everybody, but I mean, like, at the same time, time heals. Like with time, everything, changes, you know. Anyways, I do think though that like this has really been a blessing for you, this slowdown. And now it's about taking what you learned and, bringing it forward, bringing it into your reality. Okay, time is also like represented by pentacles. Okay, this kind of reminds me of the Six of Pentacles, which is about that equal give and take, you know? And so it's like, I think there is going to be a really good balance about, you know, what you put your time into, and getting that reciprocity in return for your effort. Congratulations. And now I'm going to go into card number 3. Okay, so if you picked number 3, this is your card. Revision. Okay, so there's been a lot of, so like during, again, it's right on point for, Jupiter retrograde, right? Like about revision, remembering, like retoying. I especially kind of see that with how this image just kind of goes. You can get your own kind of messages by just kind of looking at it if you like. Okay, but basically it's like if things have been kind of stagnant during this time period, over the last 4 months especially, okay, things have changed a lot, okay, but now it's about making those adjustments, okay, so you're ready for it, those changes, okay, if like all of a sudden, your work, got super, super busy, right, but like people are resistant to change, and the one thing that's constant is change, right? So we always we just gotta
get comfortable write it, right? But I mean, there's all this, resistance, and then you may not be prepared for the workload, that comes in. Efficiencies need to be put into place, for example, right? So it is about, it's like, what did you revise? Like, what did you learn? Like, what did you, and then, but by putting that revision into action, I think you're going to see magic. I really do. Okay. And if you keep just getting those, like, those walls, I do think it's kind of like, I talk about it in some other reading sometime recently, at some point ago, that, like, if you keep getting the wall, sometimes we can think that the only way is to climb it. Like, you're just like, okay, what can I use to, like, put a rope over it or something like that. Like, can I jump? Can I jump? Like, I'm not tall enough. It's a 12-foot wall. Like, how do I get over this wall? Like, I'm picturing like an obstacle course or something like that, right? You know, but maybe it was always a trick. Like, not really a trick, but like in the sense of the obstacle course, it's like maybe only that, like, top, you know, 10%, like, say if this is like some kind of army like test or something like that, we'll figure out that they can walk around the wall. Or if they can't walk around the wall, if they turn around, there's actually like a secret tunnel that like goes underneath the wall and you go out. Oh, it's like that movie. Oh, I forget that movie. Oh, like Ready Player One, maybe. I can't remember it. And it's like that. If you haven't seen it, then I'm ruining it, or I'm saying the wrong movie. One of the two. Okay, but no, it's not. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But it's like you go backwards, or any kind of video game where it's like the secret is behind you, And so it's like sometimes the challenge is not exactly how you see it. And I think you've learned a lot of lessons. And just by like doing a little tweaking, like, I think you are going to be preparing yourself for some amazing success. And yeah, you've been doing it, I think, too. Like, I think it's, anyways. And so, time for your rewards. And I do think that, like, you might be seeing signs of it, like maybe that promotion, you might be seeing signs of it, like, that it's coming. But like, I do believe that probably by, the time Jupiter changes signs, you're really going to see some big changes that are going to be amazing. So amazing. Welcome or goodbye, or that's all I have. So, Cindy with Quantum Kaleidoscope. Please like or subscribe or all of the above or both, whatever I said. Okay, awesome. And then if you haven't checked out, there is some other signs, or there's some zodiac signs, and under here we have dependability. Just because it just happens to be underneath there, so I don't know if everyone's going to see this or if it's just going to be around the ones who shows the third card. Okay, but with a little bit of revision, there's something really cool, really dependable. And I said cool because I think it's just because of all this like color and alchemy. But anyway, regardless, have a great rest of your year, and step into that portal. It's there's the new moon on the 17th. Step into that new life, man. You've done the hard work. Take care.